Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here, and if you're a fairly new gun owner like me, you've probably wondered to yourself once or twice if you should just stick with buying new guns or if you should consider buying a used gun. And when I first started buying guns, I was just going to buy new guns. That way I would be the one to break them in. If anything went wrong with them, it would be the factory's fault, or they would have just worn out because I wore them out, not because somebody else wore them out. And also, new guns, pretty much always come with a warranty of some sorts. Not all used guns come with warranties. But I actually did change my thought process on that. I did buy several used guns over the years, and I do continue to buy used guns in the future. And I'm just going to show you a few of the used guns that I bought over the years, tell you where I bought them from and how much I paid for them. So let's look at some guns. Alright guys, so these are all the used guns that I've bought over the years. There's 6 of them here. I plan on getting more, of course, but these are what I have currently, and I bought them from several different sources, for several different prices. So let's just go over all the different places and deals that you can find out there. So at the top, by the way, all these guns have been safety checked prior to this video, but at the top we have my Springfield Armory M1 Garand. I got this from the CMP. Unfortunately, the CMP no longer has any more of the service grades or the field grades. At least the last time I checked, they didn't, and I have no idea if they're going to get any more. With this new presidential election, that's kind of on the fence on whether or not maybe we'll get some more from Korea. But you never know. But you can still get them on the used market from individuals, maybe even from gun shops, gun shows. A lot of times they'll be pretty expensive, but you never know. Somebody might have them for a pretty good deal. I got this one for $730. That was from the CMP. This was a service grade, and for $730, this is a pretty good example of an M1 Garand. Not the best, but a pretty good example. I believe if you hurry, the CMP does still have their special grades, which are like the highest end, grades. Those are like over $1,000. But if you hurry, you can probably still get one if you have the money. So anyway, that's my M1 Garand. Awesome rifle. I love it. I love all these guns, by the way, in case you didn't know. Right below it, I guess this is the very first used gun I ever got. This is my Universal M1 carbine. It's got a KCI 15-round magazine in it right now. It came with a 30-round magazine. It may or may not have been a USGI mag. I'm not really sure on that. But I got this one for $600 from a friend. It came with 350 rounds of ammunition plus a magazine and a stripper clip and a stripper clip spoon. So a little thing that slips over the magazine. You can charge the magazines with it. But yeah, $600 for all of that, that's a pretty good deal. Not saying that you'll necessarily find as sweet of a deal as that, because I did know the guy that sold it to me, and he got a good deal on it in the first place, so he wasn't really losing any money. But, $600, if you can find an M1 carbine for $600, I'd say you're doing pretty good. I did have a few problems with this gun. Primarily, it was the corrosive ammunition that I was using in it, and some of it might have been mag related too. I do have a couple of 30-round magazines that have malfunctioned on me, but I might have to replace some springs and use some better quality ammunition. But so far, it's been a pretty decent gun. It didn't come with this sight though. I changed out the sight. It had a Williams adjustable leaf sight, which I really didn't like, so I put this Ken sight on here. This is more like a military, peep sight. So let's go down to the shotguns next. Right here we have a Winchester 1897. This is in 16 gauge. It has a 21-inch barrel, so whoever had it before me cut the barrel down. And it has the corncob style forend, and oops, sorry about that. And whoever had it before me also cut the stock down and put this rubber butt pad on it. So I got this one in a gun shop. I actually got both of these shotguns in the same gun shop, and they're both pretty good deals. For the 1897, I did get it. I got it for $390. I forget what the original price tag said, but it was over $400. But I was able to get it for $390 plus tax. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. I do have an issue trying to get the gun apart. For some reason, this is a takedown model, and for some reason the tube doesn't want to come out of the receiver when you turn it to take it down. For some reason it doesn't want to come out, and so I'll have to look into getting that fixed. I've been saying that for a couple of years now, and still haven't done it. I've only put like, I don't know, 8-10 rounds through it so far, and I've had it for quite a while. Because I really want to be able to take it apart and take the plug out of it, because it does have a wooden plug in it, so you can only put 2 rounds in the magazine tube. But anyway, one of these days I'll get around to taking it to my great uncle or taking it to a gunsmith and getting all that figured out. But anyway, it's a pretty good shotgun. It looks really, really nice. The camera probably doesn't do it justice, but I do really like this shotgun. And again, it's 16 gauge. That's probably the only thing I don't like about this shotgun, other than the fact that I can't get it apart. But it's still a good shotgun. Right below it is my one of my Mossberg 500s. I do have another one that I bought new, but again, this one was bought from the same gun shop as this one. And the only reason I bought this gun is because I went in there one day to buy or to do the transfer on one of my other guns, and I saw this on the rack, and it was for $145, and I picked it up and I looked at it, and there's really nothing wrong with it. I mean, it has some paint on the trigger guard and some paint on the magazine tube, and it is a little bit beat up. It does have synthetic forend and stock, and it does have sling swivels, which is good. But and it does have this little side saddle plate with no side saddle. But for $145, I looked at it. I ran the action. I took it out shooting, and it's a good shotgun. It makes for a good truck gun, maybe even a good home defense gun. But for $145, that's a smoking deal. I mean, you can't even touch a used Maverick 88 for less than like $175, $180, somewhere around there. At least in my area, I've never seen them go for less than that. So for $145, that's a smoking deal. So I just jumped on it. That's not that much money. And of course, you can probably sell it for twice that much. Well, maybe not twice that much, but for $200, you could probably sell it and get your money back. Okay, let's go to the Smith & Wesson. This is my Smith & Wesson 5904. I got this one for $250 from a face-to-face transaction. This was from the cousin of one of my coworkers. He sold this to me. But for $250, it's in pretty good condition. I put 250 rounds of full metal jacket through it, and it ran flawlessly. Then I put 5 rounds of hollow points through it, and it jammed like twice or 3 times. And so I got to look into that. It could have been this old magazine. By the way, this is a 9mm in case you didn't know. But this is a pretty old magazine. I've got a few more, another Smith & Wesson and a couple of Mech Gars. So I'll have to run some hollow points through them and see if it functions and feeds. But $250 face-to-face transaction, that's a pretty good deal. These go for like $300, $400 on Gunbroker and stuff like that. So $250, that's a pretty good deal. And I didn't have to talk him down or anything. That's what he wanted, and I didn't hesitate to pay it. And last but not least, this is my Ruger P89. This is the newest gun that I've purchased. I got this one on Gunbroker. It came from, I forget what the gun store was called, but it was from a gun store in Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, I believe. And it came with one 10-round magazine, which, kind of sucks, but whatever. So anyway, I got this on Gunbroker, and I was the high bidder at $256 plus shipping plus FFL fee. That brings it right around $300, and that's pretty good. You can get these for like $300 to $400 on Gunbroker, on Arms List, wherever, and that's a pretty good deal. It did come with some Packmeyer grips. I took those off and I put these factory grips back on it. I got the grips on Numrich Gun Parts. I believe that's how you spell it. They're a really good source for getting parts for your guns or spare parts for your guns, accessories, magazines, whatever. They're just a really good source. But anyway, $256 on Gunbroker. Gunbroker is a really good source for finding guns at really good prices. It's kind of like eBay. You type in however much you want to pay, like what the highest amount that you want to pay is, and depending on what other people bid, you could win or you could lose. It's just based off of that. And of course, they do also have some buy it now options, I do believe. But different people want to sell them for different prices. Sometimes they start at a penny. Sometimes they start at like $500. Sometimes I feel like people think their guns are made of gold when you get them on Gunbroker. But whatever. I don't go for the expensive ones. I go for the cheaper ones. And anyway, that's all of my used guns. I think I got some pretty good deals on all of these, especially, the Mossberg and the two pistols. I think those were some really good deals. The Winchester was a fairly good deal. Not the best, but it was a pretty good deal compared to, what I see them go for. The M1 carbine, that was a really good deal considering I got all that ammunition with it. And of course the M1 Garand, the CMP does sell their M1 Garands for a pretty good deal. Again, like I said, the CMP is no longer has any more the service grades or the field grades. They may or may not get some more. I don't know. Again, depends on the next presidency. But I do hear that the CMP is gonna start selling 1911s. When that will be, I have no idea, and I also have no idea how much they'll cost. But, it might be a good deal, it might not be a good deal, so you might want to look at that in the future. But anyway, this is just a sample of the different types of guns that you can get and the different places you can get them. You can also get them from pawn shops for pretty good deals. But again, all of these guns, they're in pretty good condition for the price that I paid for them. And the deals are out there. You just got to look for them. So I would say that used guns, they're worth looking into. Some guns, of course, you can't get new, like the Ruger P series or the Smith & Wessons or these Winchester 1897s. But you can find them on the used market, and you can find them for a pretty good deal. So. If you were to ask me if it was worth it to look into used guns, I would say yeah. I've got 6 used guns on the table, and I do plan on getting many more used guns in the future. So anyway, that's that. Subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.